what's going on, everyone? The Eskwilax Hour. We are back today in beautiful. I think this is Van Nuys. Today we're here with Litzy.
Yay! Hi, sorry. Hello.
Nice. The Eskwilax Hour, season 16. Again, I'm Efrain. The Eskwilax Hour will bring you local news, art, entrepreneurship, just anything creative, and just get wild with it. And yeah, we're gonna jump into this interview. Again, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Woo! I'm so excited. The first podcast I actually ever do and commit to. So this is nice.
Well, we like your suggestion of this place right here. I think I've only been here like twice.
Mm-hmm.
And the other time it was like not so busy, but this is great. We have a lot of people out here.
Lake Balboa, they also call it El Parque de los Patos because there's like a lot of ducks and stuff like that. So what is it in Echo Park? They have the Echo Park Lake.
Yeah.
It's like that, but like smaller and like in the valley. But yeah, maybe
I think
not
this
as
one
cool.
looks bigger though.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a lot more like grass and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, because the Echo Park one is like a little bit smaller. Yeah. They do have the ducks like this one, the ones you can ride in. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Or swans. Yeah. But yeah, Litzy, how's life in the valley?
That's a good question. I love it. I think not just as an artist, but like as a person that lives here, it's cool that I get to like go to LA or like East Low, Central, South Central and stuff like that for like shows and like music and art events. But then I have to come back to the valley and like come home. Does that come out? Does a little?
No. Our expert over here makes sure
Okay.
none of that comes out.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Okay. But yeah, as I was saying, so I feel like living in the valley, it's kind of like I go to LA or like Central, South Central, East LA for like parties and like things like that, music, art, and stuff. But then I come back home to the valley. It's a little more peaceful, a little more calm. Come to my little home and then wake up and I do it all over again every single weekend. But I think a lot of people in the valley like to refer to it as like a hidden gem type thing. We have our own little events and things like that. They're probably not as big or as crazy as some of the stuff that goes down in LA.
Yeah.
But we still have a lot of like passion and protection and value the things that we do here. So I think it's cool. Overall, everyone I've met in the valley, at least myself, and maybe people can say otherwise, but very genuine, very humble people that live here. So I think that's what I'm most proud of. Coming from the valley, is that?
Yeah, that's like you said, it's close enough to like LA to where you can go back and forth.
Yeah.
And the peacefulness, that's definitely a good thing. Like being able to like not hear all the sirens and helicopters in LA.
I mean, parts of the valley do get a little ratchet, a little ghetto.
Yeah.
But still, we have our cool little calm places and stuff like that. But yeah, I was born and raised here and I love it. I don't think I ever want to leave. I would probably want more events to go down over here. Little by little, we've been getting like our little venues, exhibitions or spaces to do that. A lot of music stuff going on over here, but not as much as LA. But still, we're working on it,
Yeah.
I think.
I think were you in a group show recently around here? Or
oh yes,
or
yeah.
something with the Great One-Eighters, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here in the valley, we celebrate 818 Day. So it's August 18th. So it's 818. And so yeah, all over the valley, there's like different events, whether it's music, food, art, and things like that. So I did one collaboration with the Great One-Eighters, which is a local non-profit organization.
Shout outs.
Shout out Great One-Eighters, based in Canoga Park. But they have a lot of programs, or I guess you could say arts and cultural programs. And they asked me to design one to do a mural for their live event that they were having in Canoga Park, but then for some merch that they were doing to fundraise for some of the youth programs that they had. And I like those projects a lot because I'm kind of close to commissions. It just depends because it depends on the project. Like if it has a basis, if it has a good intention and like a good vision for it, then I'm all down. but typically I like to work with those types of people
Yeah.
that show the genuine passion or like a good reason to want to continue working with someone in the community.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you get those people that like hit you up randomly, and they're like, "Hey, can you do this?" And it's like there's no like connection, there's no
Yeah, it's
emotion,
very cold.
and
Very.
it just feels very, I mean, transactional, which I get
Mhm.
a lot of artists do have to do to survive.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I value most about the things that I do, and what I want to continue doing is working with people that have that same passion and humbleness and genuine with whether it's art, music, or any kind of event or idea that they have.
Like as long as it has like a good mission behind it, right?
Yeah, like a good intention and reason. Again, I could do a lot of things with my art.
Yeah.
And I've been told like you should do this, you should do that. Like, why don't you do more of this? And it's like I can, but it's not what I want. I don't really know
It's
what I
true.
want either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in the future with my art. I don't know if that's something you were gonna ask, but I don't really know.
Sometimes, but not always. We don't. We have
Um,
many different ways to go about it.
But I think it just depends on the person too and who I'm working with. So Great One Eighters, they've been doing their thing for a while. So I trusted them, and David, who reached out to me, was so really cool about it. He's like, we've been following you for a while. We've been seeing some of the stuff that you do, and we want to connect and do that. And I was like, yeah, I'm all down for it. But if someone hits me up randomly, like, hey, you want to do this? Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna charge you this much. I don't know. You can already see in the difference between those asks. So, but yeah. And then the other recent exhibition that I did was at No Ordinary Gift Shop.
Yeah.
In North Hollywood. So they've been doing a lot of events in the Valley, hosting a lot of things, putting in a lot of work. And the most recent one was for 818 Day. And they did an exhibition with a lot of Valley artists, whether it's photography, music. They had some performers and, of course, art. But again, I just think it's important to support spaces like that are trying, because it's hard out here. I mean, in LA, I'm sure it's also hard, but there's a lot of options, I guess. you could say.
Yeah, that's the one thing out there. There's just so many different doors that are open out there.
Yeah, every week I'm saving like 10 flyers, like LA, here and here, and that's cool. And in the Valley, like we get them every once in a while. So that's why I think it's important to still show up. Whether or not I was in that exhibition, it's still cool to go to these events, meet people, meet other artists, intentionally or not intentionally.
Yes.
Like the amount of times I'll go to an event, and just because I like to talk to people, I'm
Oh, that's
like,
good. Yeah,
oh,
that's
like, where are
good.
you from? Like, are you from the
Yeah.
Valley? And then that's how it starts. And then you find out that they own a business, or like they're artists too, or they make music, and you're like, what the hell? Like, you don't know that until you kind of approach them.
Yeah, and then it becomes like a community, right? Like just
Yes.
of artists and
I think
creatives.
I'm very happy to be a part of the community in the Valley, especially the art one. I'm not going to say that I even started it or even beginning with it. It was always kind of existent, but I think something that we like to, in terms of the art community, I think it can be easy to get into it, but I think it depends, again, what the intention is.
Yeah.
So I think here, or at least our art community that we have in the Valley, everyone that I know that's a part of it, kind, genuine, very supportive. And it's not just like, oh, you're from the Valley, we're going to support you. It's more like, oh, you're an artist and you have a vision. Like, let's see how we can help you out. Or even if it's just like following on Instagram, or every now and then like saying hi. But then you see these people like over and over again at different events, and you're like, oh, I remember you. And then they start talking to you, and you kind of just get to know them. And then they're coming to your carne asadas and stuff like that, and kickbacks. So that's fun. But I think it's that I think the art community here isn't as big as in LA.
I mean, yet. Just for now.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it's gonna grow.
It does have its pros and cons,
Yeah.
though. Meaning, like, okay, like it's not that big, but again, it's close. or it's tight knit that we recognize each other and it's easier to support each other.
Yeah.
Because I've done events in LA, and it's sorry, because I've done events in LA, and I've met great people, great artists, and sometimes I go out there to do events, but it's not the same support that I get when you find out that your neighbor is also an artist.
Yeah.
Like you're more likely to go out to their shows and 40, 50 minutes away, depending traffic.
Yeah. And now that we learned a little about the community out here, you want to tell me a little about your name,
Oh.
Chile Morena? Learn a little about that.
About my artist name or alias. That's what they say, right? Alias.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have like a little comic that I have on my page that I drew about it, kind of explaining it. But I hope I don't take too long in explaining it. If anything, you could check it out on my art page, and it's like in 9 slides. But so the Chile part, essentially growing, my parents are from Mexico, and a lot of the dishes that my mom cooks, and I'm sure that a lot of people are aware of, use chiles. Right?
Yes.
And as a kid, I feel like I was always scared of chiles, like spiciness and stuff like. Not hot Cheetos though. I was on that. Grew up as a hot Cheeto girl.
The hot Cheeto.
But yeah, so we would go to the market and she'd be like, "Oh, tráeme estos chiles, like chile poblano, chile blah blah blah." So as a kid, like I didn't like chiles or I didn't really like vegetables.
Yeah.
But when she would send me to go get them, I'd be like, "Oh, this is what it looks like." I don't really remember the name, but I'm like, "Oh, it's like a brown or it's like a dark red." So it's just that. And some of these chiles too, like they're not spicy per se. They're just used to give flavor. So
Which one's your favorite?
Poblano.
Poblano.
I would say that.
That one's like not spicy.
Yeah, they use it again. So they use it in some of the most popular dishes too. Actually, people can correct me. I don't know how to make pozole or mole and stuff like that, but I think they use it in mole, which is one of my favorite dishes.
I think so.
Know.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Some chili.
I made it before. I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, but that chili isn't necessarily spicy, right? But they still use it, and mole is one of the most favorite dishes in Mexican culture, or at least that I know of. So that's that part in terms of the chile. And then the morena part, I did want morena in there just because I grew up being called that. So when I kind of made the connection of like, oh, like these chiles that are used in all these dishes, super popular. Some of them are also brown. And I think over the past few years, and hopefully this generation that we're working with, accepting color of our skin, accepting who we are, identity and culture, I kind of just accepted it as well. So then I was just like, oh, Chile Morena, like those chilies that everyone uses and likes, y que todos pueden saborear. So yeah, that's how I came up with it.
It's a great name. It's a great artist name, and a lot of narrative behind it. You know how you said from childhood and all the chiles, and then mentioning the cuisine, the food. Yeah,
and in a way, all my art and all the, I guess, inspiration of it comes from culture and like my parents, like the way they raised me, the things that they taught me, the jokes that they make, is all ingrained into me. And I don't know how well I'm doing in this podcast in terms of like speaking and explaining things, but I can draw it out, and it's a little better or easier for me to express myself that way. So I think it just made sense to kind of do an homage through art, for my culture, and my parents most of all. Cause
where are your parents from?
My dad's from Puebla, and then my mom's from La Ciudad de Mexico, and then eventually my dad growing up, he would hang around like all over Mexico, right? But then he ended up going more to like Iztapalapa, which is where my mom was from, Nesa, and they got to know each other and, met each other, came here, started a family, and then here I am.
That's great. Yeah, always having families come from over there to over here, whole culture shock, and then being able to pass their culture onto their kids, it's a challenge. Yeah. Because when you grow up here, you have a lot of things just coming at you, and then, sometimes some people, their mentality changes, the way they live changes.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of, or my art is an homage to that. I don't know how else to like thank my parents. Obviously, we've had our ups and downs
Yeah.
as first generation kids here, and then my parents not really knowing how to start their lives here. But I think through art, like I can carry that a little bit. Even my friends, the way I interact with people, I appreciate my parents and the way that they raised me. I don't think it's always easy to say like, oh, like my parents, I'm like proud of them. Like I'm not always going to be saying that, but the way in which I carry myself,
Yeah.
I think presents how I also carry some of their characteristics and things like that. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of my parents and how they raised me, who I am, and who I can become. You know, you never know. Tomorrow I
No, definitely. That's how life goes. We have reached our like first
No,
half.
I'm kidding,
It was
yes.
quick. Before we take our little break, I just want to know who this little fellow or fella.
Yes, this is Leo. He's one of the many plushies that I have, but a main inspiration for some of the art that I do. But yeah, a lot of my art I think kind of has like the vibrancy, characteristic, cartoony stuff. And he's one of the inspos, and he's here with me today because he had to be here for my first podcast.
Nice. Oh yeah. Well, we're glad we have him on the show too.
Yes.
And as I was mentioning, we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna come back, learn more about Chile Morena, and you guys need to get some water, get some chips, and we'll be back in a few minutes. This is the Eskwilax Hour, season 16. We'll be back. And we're back, y'all. This is the Eskwilax Hour, season 16. We're here with Litzy and her wonderful art and illustrations that you guys can see right here, and also on her Instagram. What's your Instagram so they can know?
Chile Morena.
This.
Together, yeah. No underscore, no none of that. Just Chile Morena.
Do you have a website too, or just the Instagram for right now?
Everything I do is just shared on my website. Everything I do is just shared on my Instagram. Todo. You can catch me there all the time.
All right, let me just read this to you guys. It's hija de chilangos, de piel morena y con una creatividad que todos pueden saborear. Right?
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yeah. Perfect.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So my next question in this segment is, when did you discover the love for art? Like, when did you want to get creative in this?
Yeah. The way my face like kind of just like went like when you asked that question. I would say a lot of I think the cool answer or good answer would be to be like, oh, there's a chiquita, but I think it was in 2020, like pandemic.
Yeah.
Where I had, well, no, actually I take that back. I think it was in 2017. That year, unfortunately my dad passed away that year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So when that happened, I was looking for anything to kind of like distract me. And luckily at the time, when that happened, Manny Velasquez, he's a local muralist here to the San Fernando Valley and has done a lot of projects in other places of LA. He was doing a mural at my school.
Oh.
And it was my senior year of high school. That happened. And I was graduating, and it was just like over the summer. Like I was lost. Like I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know, I couldn't go to school and like talk to my friends. But Manny was painting a mural, and then I asked him one day, I was like, oh, like I see you have other students like help you. Like, can I do it?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, go for it. And I literally spent the entire rest of my summer there, just finishing the mural. The mural's like, I don't know how long it is, but it's like 8 walls, like a whole hallway.
Yeah.
And then
is this available to the public where they can see it now, or?
I'm sure. Well, you could go to the school. I went to Panorama High School, so that's where the mural is, inside the school. But he's done a lot of murals also at like San Fernando High School, public murals all over San Fernando. But yeah, when we finished that, like I just felt very complete. And throughout every single session that I would go, I would bring a friend. I would bring my family members. Like, he just made it so welcoming and easy to do art with him. And then once you see the finished piece, like the whole mural, you're like, oh shit, like we really did that. Or like I took part in that. And something that really stuck out to me was like he put my dad's name on the mural. He was like, you know, in a sense, yes, he's not here. Or like, you know, what happened. But you still were able to complete and do this big project and see the ending of it. He just kind of talked me through a lot of the tough things that were going on. And it was then when I was like, oh, well, when can I catch the next mural? And he's like, well, I live in the San Fernando Valley. Like, I'm going to do one at San Fernando High School. Or I'm going to do one over here. So he kept welcoming me. And I would go. Like, it was just so easy for me to show up and for him to be like, yeah, pick up that paintbrush and you're good. And he made it easy, not just for me, but for my friends too. And just something cool to do together. And he would also do a lot of like cultural art events.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just painting. Like he organizes the Dia de los Muertos, or at least the art part for Pacoima.
Okay.
Dia de los Muertos festival. So I even got like a lot of the behind the scenes, like how to organize, who to communicate, connecting with other artists and musicians. And that's when I was like, oh, this is like a community. Like, this is something that people have been building and I can be a part of, like, even now. And then COVID hit and that's when I started doing boo. That's when I started doing more of my art like at home. Yeah. And there was this one piece that I sold recently, but it was like my favorite piece ever. But basically it was like a brown girl. The piece was called I Want to Be Friends with Apple, because at work I met a little girl and she was wearing this little red dress and she was super shy. And then her mom showed me her report card, because I work with students, so I looked at her report card, and then it said Apple. And I was like, no way, your name is Apple. And that's when she started opening up and being like, yeah, like, you know. And then her mom was like, you know, a lot of, like, she basically that she gets bullied for it. Or, like, people at school or, like, even adults, like, pick at it. And I know how that feels sometimes.
Yeah, tell me about it, yeah.
But I was like, no, like, I love that name. It was beautiful. And I got the inspiration from her, like, to paint. She doesn't look like the painting. But it was just the character and the fun colors and, like, the spirit of it. And that's when I think I started sticking to that style. So through a lot of my art, I feel like I've been told that I have a specific style to it. So I think that's when I first started. So it was like pandemic, COVID time. And then I started sharing online. It was scary. I feel like for a lot of artists, it can be scary. But when I finally shared it, like, I got good feedback. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I wasn't expecting it, really. Yeah. But it was cool to see that people understood my art, or, like, fucked with it, basically. So that was cool.
No, it's dope. It's dope. Definitely caught my eye because of the style. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you use, like, the deco markers. That's kind of how a style when you do letters. Because I used to do graffiti years ago.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like, the way these things, the lettering here, it kind of reminded me of that. That's just my opinion on the lettering, you know?
Yeah, I've been told about that too. Like, if I do, like, I work with spray paint and stuff like that. Yeah. But I just do acrylic, and I stick to that. But a lot of, like, the bold lines is what I like, and just like the animation or animated style. Like, I recently shared on Instagram one of my inspirations as a kid was the cartoon Oswald. I don't know if you know that one. Do you guys know Oswald?
I don't know.
No, the blue
maybe
octopus?
if I look at if I see it, if I
it's
see
in mi
it.
época. I guess it's different época. I'm just kidding.
She sound from the late 1900s.
Perdón. But
that's all good.
But yeah, so that that cartoon, and it's not just that cartoon, but it's the way that they personify a lot of things and animals and objects. Yeah. And I was like, that's so cool, because you could do so much with that, you know? So I kind of stuck with that style, and I try and bring it out with every piece. So yeah, I'm very thankful that I found my style at the time that I did. I know it takes artists a lot of work to find it. Yeah. But I don't know. I might do, what is it, like oil painting? That's hard for me.
Yeah, that's
actually.
like the next level.
I might not do that. That's a little too hard.
And so going back to like how you mentioned school, I also saw a video of like how you said it's important to talk about FAFSA
Oh,
and like the opportunities for people available for people. And so yeah, you want to tell us a really quick
Okay, I got you.
our audience about that?
Yeah, I'm proud community college graduate. Community college is cool. Doesn't matter when you get your education or where, as long as you're doing it. It's just something that I like to share because it got me through
that's
a lot.
what caught me too. Like on
Yeah.
your Instagram, like, cause I tried to go to school years ago. I'm talking about the late 1900s.
Oh, pues.
Me dolió.
Perdón.
No, but yeah, like I didn't have this information.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw your video, I was like, wow, this is fucking dope. Like this is
Yeah.
great that someone's putting this out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it took me years to figure out how to even get to school because I'm a DACA recipient. So back then I didn't have a social, nothing. So it took another friend who told me like, oh, go to the Chicano Center at Santa Monica College
Yeah.
and you do this and talk to this person. And that's how I got in.
Yeah.
I didn't even know anything about anything.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately I didn't finish. But yeah, it was your video
But
was
it's
very
so
informative.
possible. It's so possible. And obviously it depends on like your situation.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just like perfect timing. Or I don't want to say timing, but it just worked out.
Yeah.
I figured a lot of shit on my own. But that's why when they reached out to me, I was like, yeah, like I'll share it. Like whatever it takes for people to get more information, like I'm down for it. So
Well,
yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes, of course.
I mean, again, like you never know who is gonna reach. Thanks for like sharing that. Again, it's very important to put information out there, especially because there's a whole new generation of people just like coming by and looking for info, and
Yeah.
especially people that are of color.
Oh my god! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Are you Chile Morena?
Yeah,
oh my
that's
god!
me.
It's so nice to meet you. Can I hug you?
Yes, of course.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
I follow you on Instagram. I love your
thank
artwork.
You. Thank you.
Oh my gosh! I didn't think I would see you here.
Me either. You know what? The part about Lake Balboa is where it's at.
Yes, I'm not even from here, but it's where it's at. So I came out today. It's a nice day, and
Perfect timing.
oh my gosh, so nice to finally meet you.
You too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I know you like music, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Good. That's a fact.
I want to ask you, like, what are you listening to recently when you're painting?
Oof.
Yeah. What's your
Okay.
playlist or what's your vibe at the moment?
You know what's funny is that I was painting the other day, and then my mom's like, it wasn't this painting, but again, it was like vibrant and cute colors and stuff like that. And then she's like, she couldn't get my attention because I had my headphones on, and I just hear her yell like, Anna.
Oh my
And I
god.
take them off, and then I was listening to like recently like Dead Kennedys and a lot of like punk
Like
stuff.
punk?
So when I took them off, she's like, y por eso no me escuchas. She's like, ¿por qué andas tocando esa música? She's like, mejor pon uno de like Leo Dan, which I do.
Yeah,
Like when I
yeah.
need to calm myself down, like some Mexican oldies.
Yeah.
Leo Dan, Luis Miguel, Jose.
Yeah, like more
But,
chill, oldies.
but yeah.
But
But I
you're
think-
listening to like punk?
Sorry.
So
Go ahead.
like punk is been your vibe recently?
Yeah, so a lot of that. It's
Yeah.
again, I think it's funny because like a lot of my art is like cutesy, vibrant stuff.
Yeah.
But then it's like no, but a lot of my inspo comes from
it's like
just
a little more hardcore.
Yeah, and it just makes me focus a little more. And I'm like, you know what? When I'm really need to get that line clean, that's when some of the Ramones and stuff like that really keeps
Yeah.
me in check.
And
So
it's,
yeah,
it's like ironic because people think that like calmer music would help you concentrate, but yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to someone if they want to do what you're doing? Like if you're painting and like, what's your advice for people who want to get started on that and don't know how to start? What would you tell them?
I would say really look at local, not necessarily projects or community, just things that are going on, whether it's music or anything cultural. That's kind of how I started. I would go to like small events that I would see, and of course it was scary because sometimes I'd go alone, mostly
Yeah.
because it's weird to tell a friend like, hey, let's pull up to this random backyard show because they're gonna have like an exhibition and I like this one artist, and they're like, what the hell, like maybe it depends on your friends, right? But I would go and then I would meet people, or I would consistently see people, and just kind of getting to know them, and they would put me on. So it was one time where I went to like I started sharing my art on Instagram, and then Ivan from Drifter Zine, Ivan and his wife Maddie, started having like a a little art event at the Panorama City Rock Garden. And that's when they invited me. They're like, hey, we're going to have a Dia de los Muertos event. We've seen some of your art. Like, do you want to come vend? And I was like, whoa, like vend? I'm like, sell my art. I'm like, that's a thing? And they're like,
That's
yeah.
cool, yeah.
And right when they invited me, I was like, fuck it, I'm down. Like, let's see what this is about.
My God, that's cool. Yeah.
And ever since then, like, I like to give them a lot of credit. Like, they're my padrinos of art because they
cute.
basically got me into the
Yeah.
community. Again, because they reached out, I probably would have never been like, yeah, let me sell, or like, let me vend. But I think it's that. And then eventually from that event, I met so many people, like, and then after that, I started getting invited to other events and being told, like, would you like to do an exhibition with us? And I was like, yes, like, you know, you just kind of build community. So again, it's just showing up for people that you may or may not know, and asking questions and being interactive. But I think the best thing to do, especially because again, the art community here, we're pretty small, but we're very protective also of like what we create, because it's hard. One little thing could probably, I don't want to say dismantle it, but you never know. And we like to support and protect each other. So I think if you do want to be a part of the art community, it's just have it with good intention, and again with respect for the people that are allowing you into their space. So when I was invited by Maddie and Ivan or Drifter Zine, like I came in there with like pure like humbleness and with respect, like, you know, let me know if this is okay, like can I work with you, like can I help you guys in something, and they're so cool. They're like, nah, you're fine, like whatever. But again, I think it was that the presence and kind of how I went into it that was a good impression with a lot of other people, and just having that humbleness too, but also giving, not just always taking from community, but also willing to give back. So just those little things. I don't know if I was clear on that, but I'm sorry, I don't mean to scare anyone, but basically we would love for more people to be a part of the art community. It's really fun, it's really cool to share your ideas or even bounce ideas off, and like I'm here and like working with you guys and like getting to meet you.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So little things like that come from it, and it's just a cool feeling. And I never thought that I would be here like with my art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool. That's really good advice. So you would just say that to start getting yourself out there little by little at events that you're looking into, and just being genuine in your interactions.
Yes,
when it
very
comes to
genuine.
like, I guess, meeting other artists, etc., or collaborators. 'Cause sometimes they might feel like very transactional,
Yes.
right? So especially when there's a bunch of people, I think just being genuine, like you said, is very important.
Yeah, and I think luckily because I've had that mentality or kind of that mindset, I've been able to work with so many cool, sick, genuine, down-to-earth people.
I love
like
that.
I know
Yeah.
some artists have horror stories, and hopefully I never go through that. But again, I think it's that mindset that I have going into it that you just kind of know. Like you can kind of feel it out, and those people will also, you'll naturally attract those people that are cool. So yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so sorry I interrupted.
Girl,
I'm so sorry
you're
about that.
fine.
I just got too
Yes, sorry.
excited. It was so nice to meet you.
You too.
I
Thank
hope I
you.
see more of your work soon.
I
Yeah.
will, hopefully. Yes.
Okay, I'm
Thank
so
you.
sorry about that.
Magical universe, everyone.
That was cool.
That was
That's-
interesting.
That was a good question she asked me
interesting.
in the last second. Got a
No.
little nervous. I'm kidding.
No, thank you for being here with us,
Of course.
interacting with the environment. And that was actually my last question, because I think you said you do a lot of projects too that affect the environment, or are like, because right now we're in a setting where this. I was talking to him earlier, Henry, about how this is like, this was built, right? This isn't like a natural, like as far as this park, like the city building, like these type of things, so people could enjoy it on days like this.
Yeah.
So, what's your opinion on like the environmental?
Or I guess like in terms of like the valley, we have like this very nice park, right? But what a lot of us do request here is like more venues to be able to host some of our creative ideas and visions and things like that. But overall, I think we use the public spaces to our advantage. Like again, I forget their name. Oh, like there's a musician or artist, DJ, I'm not sure, called El Kiomo. Okay. And he does like cumbia type stuff, beats and things like that. And I'm friends with his partner, who's also an artist, but he would host like DJ events and sets like on the other side of the park. Oh, wow. So again, because we don't have that many spaces, but we use what we have. And I think again, the intention, it was just like wanting to put some people onto music, especially locally. Like it would be easy for me to just pull up to the park and just sit, like have my snack and listen to his new music. So again, we use a lot of our public spaces to our advantage, and we get creative with it. Sometimes not me. Yeah. Sometimes I pull up and I'm like, this is sick. Like I would have never thought of that. And it's just because of those people that you interact with and meet. And you're like, wait, who organized this? Because this is sick and this is cool and like they need to do it again. And sometimes they even need to hear it. Like I asked I asked like who organized it or whatever, not to be like, oh, like who organized, like no.
I'm calling the cops
no.
on you.
No. But it's more like to go up to them and give them their flowers and be like, this is hard work. I mean, even you guys, like when I pulled up, I was like, the setup, the audio, the time. And I'm sure even after this, like a lot of work goes into it. So it's just giving props and flowers to people that deserve it, especially if they're creating and beginning. And even if they're like already famous or popular, like still going up to them and giving them that reminder of like a genuine supporter, right? But again, a lot of the spaces that we have here, we try our best with what we have. If not, I have to drive all the way to LA and to see a homie. So
well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, we
have reached our time limit, as you guys have been here with us the past few 30 minutes, so a little bit longer. And I know you guys always enjoy it. You guys always give us feedback of how we need to make them longer. But right now, we try to keep it in that time range. Again, thank you for coming out here and sitting here with us, share your art. Cool. Hopefully in the future we could do like another episode where we catch up a few
2 hours.
There you go.
No, just kidding.
Or we could also do like, where back in the days we had this thing called the art battle. We get all the artists from the seasons and they would just go at it, different paintings, and we had like people judge like which piece was the nicest. And yeah, those were awesome because everybody got to meet everyone. They're like, "Oh, you're from episode this and episode that." But
season 16. What is it? Art? You call it art battle?
Yes, maybe down the line. Yeah, we need to extend the season a little bit more.
Art circle. I don't know about battle. That sounds a little aggressive. I'm just kidding. That's fine.
Yeah, we could do it. Thank you. This has been another episode of the Eskwilax Hour, season 16. Thank you, Jackie, for stopping by. Randomly here in this part of the valley.
What are the chances?
Right. And our producer Hoken in the back. Always shout out to co-producer. And shout out to the valley. Shout out to Van Nuys.
Shout out Van Nuys.
And everyone that makes it all the creativity come to life out here.
Yes.
Keep going, don't stop.
Period.
We'll catch you guys next time. The Eskwilax Hour. Peace. Yay.